Hello everyone, welcome to today's IEP meeting. My name is Yesenia Cortez, otherwise known as Miss Cortez, the special education teacher. Um, we will begin with everyone introducing themselves and explaining the role regarding Anna Adams' IEP. So let's go ahead and take a minute to do that. We'll start with you, Mr. Dominguez. Thank you, Mr. Dominguez, and you're the district representative also, our principal. Ms. Garcia, go ahead. It's your turn now. Thank you, Ms. Garcia, and you're our interpreter for today. Mrs. Schrute, thank you. You're the speech language pathologist. And Ms. Beverly, you're the transportation aide. And we have Ms. Adams. You are Anna Adams' mother. So the purpose of this meeting is to review and update the IEP for our student Anna Adams. It is important for us to keep Anna's IEP updated to accommodate and modify the document to meet her needs. In order for Anna to be successful in the classroom, we need to come up with an agreement as a team to provide her with the best education possible. So just to go over our meeting norms, to clarify when we do this meeting, so have you guys sign a document where you're signing to be respectful towards one another and one another's suggestions. I want you guys to look over it and sign it. I will pass it out right this instant. Give you guys a minute. If you guys have any questions regarding the student's IEP, then you can let us know during the meeting if it is an issue that really can wait. But if it is something that can wait, then we suggest that you discuss it, that you wait after the meeting to discuss it. Thank you so much. Now we will continue with our meeting, with Anna's meeting. I just want to remind you guys that we are all here today for Anna. We want the best for her, and as a team, we're going to come up with the best accommodations for her to help her. So let's look at our cover letter. Our cover letter states Anna Adams' name, date of birth, July 11th, 2009, the meeting date, which is today, the 1st of April, the 31st of March. Sorry about that, guys. The student address. I want you, Mrs. Adams, to take a look at the student address information. Is that still your guys' current address? 3124 West Buckeye? Okay. Thank you for that. The phone number is 602-465-6027. Okay. If there's any updates that we need to do now, please let me know. Okay, so special education primary category number 1, we're here due to mild intellectual disability. Special education category number 2, speech language impairment. This restrictive environment class B inside regular class for more than 79% of the day and no less than 40% of the day. The type of meeting is annual, so we are here once again over a year of reviewing Anna's IEP. So now I'm going to pass you guys the procedural safeguards. Okay, here's a copy of the procedural safeguards, and we will review them briefly before we get started with today's IEP meeting. The procedural safeguards are designed to protect the rights of parents and their child with a disability. So you just sign right here. Okay. I ask that you initial the IEP, confirm you have received a copy of your rights. I have drafted everything for the IEP with your input and will include and anything that you want to input will be included before the IEP is finalized. Okay, so now that we have began with introducing ourselves and all the important other stuff, we are going to start with our meeting. So Anna has been receiving services due to delays in the areas of cognitive communication and adaptive behavior. She was previously qualified for special education under the category of primary category developmental delay and secondary category speech and language impairment. Classroom academics, December 2020. Since March of this year, Anna has not participated in in-person instruction. She is receiving online instruction, but her attendance is sporadic. When she does log in, she generally is not participating. She is falling asleep in front of the computer and often appears to be watching something else on her computer screen, such as a telenovela. The following information is from the Times last school year when she was attending in-person instruction. 2019-2020 school year. Anna is making progress, but is often sporadic with regressions. She will seem to understand a concept such as counting to 10, then will forget the sequence by the next Monday. She often forgets the number 6 to help her understand how to count to 10. We're counting in both Spanish and English. She remembers 6 more often than 6, but will forget other Spanish numbers such as ocho. Lots of repetition of the same concept is necessary for Anna to retain information. She does speak of some of the words in her familiar read-along books and knows some of the words of the songs we sing. She's very social and often like to act like a little mother for the other students. Speech language communication. This school year, Anna has made significant progress. She's verbalizing a lot of interacting with her classmates and teachers. She's able to get final consonant C and CVC words. When given a word to imitate 66% of the time, and is able to produce all speech sounds in isolation. When using the spontaneous words and phrases, she's often quite difficult to understand to familiar listeners. Okay, so we have gone over that. Now, for the areas of eligibility, once more, she is eligible for mild intellectual disability and also for speech and language impairment. For the present levels of academic achievement, Anna is able to read some of the words in our familiar read-along text. She also reads or sings some of the words in our often repeated songs. When she has the opportunity for repeated instructions and attains mastery of a concept, such as a person who write the words in a book is called the author. She will retain the information even if she has not been exposed to it for several months. Anna requires lots of repetition of the same concept, words or letters. She will often perform well on recognition, only to forget them after a day or two, such as over a weekend. For writing, Anna is usually able to write her first name, however, she will still forget a letter and will write her first name starting with R rather than A. Anna requires more instruction and practice to write letters both upper and lower case. She also needs to consistently write her first name correctly. For math, Anna consistently counts and identifies amounts from 0 to 5. Anna requires more instruction and practice in counting and identifying amounts to 20. She also needs to be able to identify and solve basic addition information problems with sums to 10. So for the current classroom-based data, based on her math performance, Anna has 7% fluency on simple basic addition facts. Anna continues to have difficulty counting, often forgetting 6 when counting to 10. She struggles with alphabet sounds, scoring 0 on her assessment. She scored a 0.3 level of reading on the reading level assessment. This corresponds to a beginning kindergarten learner. For the state and district assessments, we don't have anything yet just because due to COVID, she hasn't been able to take them. So social, emotional, and behavior, we're on our functional performance. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Anna is able to follow daily established routines. She follows basic directions, sometimes needing multiple prompts. She demonstrates appropriate use of objects, such as pencils and crayons. She's very observant. In the past, when riding the bus, she knows where every student lives and tells the bus monitors which student gets off next. When she was receiving in-person instruction last school year, she was very interested in and observant of other students' activities. She would often be the first one to become aware when another student was on a wrong program when working on the computers. She would point out the student on the wrong program to the teacher or paraprofessional. For physical development, Anna's a girl of average height who's overweight. She does not wear glasses nor uses hearing aids. She's able to hold pencils and prints legibly. There are no identified physical skills that negatively impact her learning process. Based on her social development, is much younger than that of a general education on disabled children. Student. Communication. Good articulation skills are required for verbal expression in all curricular areas. All areas of communication such as listening, speaking, reading, writing can be affected by weakness in semantic skills, thereby impacting on all Areas of the curriculum. This makes it very difficult for Anna to have meaningful participation in a general education setting. With that being said, is there any information that the parent would like to input at this moment? Okay, no information. So, for the summary of educational needs, based on information from the current multidisciplinary evaluation, academic achievement, functional performance, and transition-based data, the IEP team has determined that the student has educational needs in the following areas: functional academics and speech. Moving on to the consideration forms. For a student whose behavior impedes his or her learning or that of others, positive behavior interventions, strategies, and supports have been considered. Considered but not needed in this case. Statement of language in the case of child with limited English proficiency has been included due to Anna's performance on the ESSELA, yielded scores in a pre-emergent/emergent range for her combined score and in all subdomain scores. She receives English language accommodations within her special education classroom with simplified language for instruction, the use of pictures and manipulatives, as well as Spanish explanations as needed. Statement of provisions of instruction in Braille and user of Braille for a visually impaired child was considered but not needed. Statement of the child's language of needs, opportunities for direct communication with peers in the child's language and communication mode was considered but also not needed. Statement of communication needs for a disability was considered but not needed, and statement of required assistant technology devices and services were as well considered but also not needed. For the statement of health concerns was considered as well but not needed. For any extra medical notes, we do know that Anna had previously had tubes in her ears that were inserted at the age of 12 months. She had a liver function test performed in 2015. Is there any more information, medical notes that we might have not gotten? Okay, it seems like we have it all. So that is from the considerations form. We're going to move on to our goals. For the skill language arts, we have come to agreement that given a model, Anna will write upper and lowercase manuscripts letters with at least 90% of accuracy as measured by teacher prepared assessments assessed at least 2 times per grading period. Is that goal still needed? Yes? Okay. For math, given manipulatives, Anna will add numbers within 10 with at least 90% accuracy as measured by teacher assessment. This goal is still needed due to Anna's ability of forgetting number 6. So we're on agreement with that one. Okay. For the general academic, given visual examples of analog clocks, Anna will state the time to the half hour with at least 90% accuracy as measured by teacher assessments. That one will be needed as well. And baseline level of mastery, 10%. Service providers for this goal would be the special education teacher. For the English language proficiency, when presented with a familiar word, Anna will recognize and say a new word when a specified phoneme is changed at least 80% of the time as measured by teacher assessment. Level of mastery, 10%. Service provider for the goal would be the special education teacher, and that would still be required as well. For the skill area in social emotional, when in need of help or assistance, Anna will raise her hand and wait to be called on before asking for help, with at least 80% of the time as measured by teacher/staff observation. For the base level of mastery, that's 50% accuracy. Service provider for this goal would be the special education teacher. For the communication, Anna will describe a picture/actions in a 3 and upward sentence that include the subject, verb, and object. The boy eating a sandwich, for example. In 4 out of 5 opportunities as measured quarterly by SLP, SLT, SLPA observation/data. Baseline level mastery, 1/5. And this will be provided by the speech language pathologist. Is this still a goal that needs to be included? Okay. Okay, so it still needs to be included for Anna. For alternative state tests, we have not taken any tests due to COVID. So that will remain the same for today. For accommodations, minimize distractions in the classroom will still be one of our accommodations. Finding a student a quiet area for independent work will be an accommodation. Varied method of presenting information will also be another accommodation. Provide multi-sensory experiences using manipulators. Read aloud to students. Give oral directions slowly, avoiding unnecessary words. Permit students to dictate responses for tests. Tests administered individually. Those are three type accommodations, BCE location, which are language arts, reading, and math. For family communication, as we have done before, any communication that needs to be addressed or changed will come to the annual IEP meeting as we're doing now, or IEP progress reports. Moving on, is the student eligible for ESY? No, student is not eligible for ESY. The explanation for this is, while Anna's achievement growth is slow, her progress is steady. She is able to accurately respond to the questions concerning topics presented previously, just as prior to summer or winter break. Due to the school shutdown because of COVID-19 pandemic, there was a period of several months she did not receive direct instruction. She was able to accurately describe the part of a book, identify the roles of the author and illustrator, and identify keywords presented previously. So yes, I will not be part of our IEP today. So for special education services that we have provided is functional academics. The location would be the special education classroom. The start date would be the 12/18/2020, and then the total minutes, 500 minutes per week. Special education teacher and pre-entry and day services will be provided in the special education classroom, 100 minutes daily, 5 days per week. Direct instruction from a special education teacher in the area of math, language arts, science, and social studies to include a modified curriculum to Anna's ability level, use of technology, online learning programs, whole group, small introduction, and individual learning activities, opportunities. Will this still be a special education service? Okay. For speech, it will be in the special education classroom, 90 minutes per month, and the provider will be the speech language pathologist. 1 and 30 minute session per week, 3 times per month. Ariana requires a small group instruction with multiple responses, opportunities, direct models, and corrective feedback in order to make progress. For everything else, we have considered the services, but they are not needed in this case. Least restrictive environment. Anna will not have equal access and opportunity to participate with no restrictions with age-appropriate non-disabled peers in the general curriculum. In a general education classroom setting, the team had determined that a special education classroom within a general education school setting is the most appropriate placement due to the need for individualized curriculum, highly structured learning environments, specialized instructional methodologies, and small group instruction. Placement in a special education classroom within a school setting would limit Anna's opportunities to work with non-disabled peers in general education activities. It was determined by the team that the placement outweighs this potential harmful effect. This placement is necessary to address Anna's unique academic and social needs. Okay, so now I will pass out the sheet that we have read. All of us have attended the meeting. All of you guys will have to sign and date. Give you guys a moment. Now that we have done that, I just want to thank everyone for coming today to this important meeting. I want to say, if there's anything else that we did not include, any questions or concerns, this is the time to say it now. If something comes up later, we can always make changes, but this is important to bring up. Nothing? Okay, thank you so much everyone for attending this meeting.